Yo, what is up guys, and welcome to the day 76 recap of the 2016-2017 NBA season. Alright, so the Houston Rockets beat the Toronto Raptors yesterday thanks to an amazing fourth quarter from the Houston Rockets where they scored 34 points and the Toronto Raptors only scored 23. Final score is 129 to 122. Yo, it was a battle of DeMar DeRozan versus James Harden. James Harden finished with another triple-double, 40 points, 11 assists, and 10 rebounds. And DeMar DeRozan had 36 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists of his own, alright? So it was a battle between those two players, and James Harden wound up coming out on top, or at least his team wound up coming out on top. And that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the Houston Rockets as a team, because if I'm being honest, I don't think people are taking the Houston Rockets serious yet. I do not think the Houston Rockets are getting enough respect yet. And I'm not gonna front, I'm not gonna act like I was giving them the benefit of the doubt for a long time either. I was just thinking of them as another good team in the NBA, but not quite on that elite level. Look, the Houston Rockets are now 30-9 on the season. 30-9 on the season, and they have won 19 of their last 21 games. 19 of their last 21 games have been won by the Houston Rockets. People are saying that this is an offensive-minded team. They're gonna shoot a lot of threes, stuff like that. They don't play defense, stuff like that. It's not gonna translate well when it comes to the playoffs. Well, how they're gonna do in the playoffs, you just have to wait to find out. That's just how it goes. You just have to wait to find out how well they will do in the playoffs. But what you can base from is right now. Right now, the Houston Rockets are one of the best teams in the NBA. And if you think that they were just hot, or like on a hot streak this entire time, then it really can't be possible, because no team can remain this hot for so long. It's not just hot shooting that has gotten them to this record. It's good team play that has gotten them to this 30-9 record. I mean, you look back in 2014, 2015, when they had their best season in a long time. I think they won like 56 games or something like that. This Houston Rockets team is better than that Houston Rockets team. This Houston Rockets team is probably gonna win upwards of 60 games this season. So this is a team that's projected to win 60 games compared to like the 55 or 56 they won back in 2014, 2015 when they finished with the second seed in the Western Conference. And yet people aren't taking them as serious threats. I know James Harden gets a lot of credit. James Harden, when everyone talks about the Houston Rockets, the first thing that of course is gonna come up is James Harden and the MVP level season that he is having. But the rest of the team is pretty darn good too. Patrick Beverley, this crazy man, does not get enough credit for what he does for this team. Ryan Anderson doesn't get enough credit for the amazing season that he's having. Trevor Ariza is a guy that almost never gets credit, even though he's one of the most consistent players in the NBA. I mean, when you talk about a 3-and-D wing person that any team would love to have, Trevor Ariza is that guy, a veteran guy with championship experience, plays some defense, knocks down threes. And then you have younger guys like Sam Dekker, second-year players like Sam Dekker and Montrezl Harrell. These two guys have been stepping it up this season. Montrezl Harrell especially as of late, and then Sam Dekker also has games where he comes off the bench and he lights it up. And then of course you have Sixth Man of the Year Eric Gordon. This Houston Rockets team overall is just very well put together. I mean, they have great team chemistry, and that's one thing you cannot discount. You cannot discount team chemistry. I know this has been a little bit of everywhere. This is just a rant, but you have the Houston Rockets, the second best offensive team in the NBA, right behind the Golden State Warriors. And basically every offensive statistic, offensive efficiency, they're number 2 behind Golden State. Assists per game, they're number 2 behind Golden State. Scoring, they're number 2 behind Golden State. They're right up there with Golden State Warriors. Even in terms of defense, in defensive statistics, they're like in the 20s, and so are the Golden State Warriors. So they give up 107 points per game. The Golden State Warriors give up 105 points per game, so there's not much of a gap there either. And we all know the Golden State Warriors are a great team. They're a team that's favored to reach the NBA Finals again this year. But if the Houston Rockets are right up there with Golden State on offense, basically around the same as defense, which people are going to knock them for, saying they're not a great defensive team, how can you discredit the Houston Rockets but then praise the Golden State Warriors? Are the Houston Rockets favorites to win or make the NBA Finals? No, they're still not favorites. But can you count them out from at least reaching the NBA Finals? I wouldn't if I were you. Speaking of favorites to make the NBA Finals, the Cleveland Cavaliers survived the scare from the Phoenix Suns from Devin Booker and Eric Bledsoe. Devin Booker and Eric Bledsoe gave the Cleveland Cavaliers just about all they could handle last night. 31 points for Eric Bledsoe to go along with 8 assists and 28 points for Devin Booker. But the Cleveland Cavaliers hung on to win 120 to 116 behind LeBron James's 28 points and 8 rebounds, Kevin Love's 25 points and 10 rebounds, and Kyrie Irving's 27 points and 7 assists. The most intense game of the night, however, actually goes to the Detroit Pistons versus the Portland Trail Blazers. Yo, a double overtime thriller, a game filled with plenty of clutch shots and plenty of big moments. The Pistons hung on to win over the Portland Trail Blazers, two teams who have been underperforming so far this season. 125 to 124 is the final score. Like I said, this game went into double overtime. CJ McCollum was carrying the Portland Trail Blazers in overtime. 35 points on the night for CJ McCollum. He hit a couple of huge shots, one to send the game into overtime, and the next to send the game into double overtime. And Allen Crabbe was also huge off the bench. The Pistons could not stop Allen Crabbe. He was on absolute fire. You don't get on much more fire than Allen Crabbe was last night. 30 points on 12 of 15 shooting. He was 5 of 5 from 3. And for the Pistons, it was a combination of Andre Drummond, KCP, and Reggie Jackson. 28 points, 14 rebounds, 4 steals for Andre Drummond, 31 points for Reggie Jackson, 26 points and 4 steals for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and a game-winning 3 in double overtime with around 8 seconds left to go. This was a good game between two teams who realized that they have to start turning around their seasons now. After a terrible first quarter, the Golden State Warriors turned it around to beat the Sacramento Kings 117 to 106. They gave up 33 points to the Sacramento Kings in that first quarter. I believe it was 15 to Rudy Gay alone. But then they got their acts together and came away with the win. Kevin Durant had 28 points, 6 assists, and 4 blocks. And Stephen Curry had 30 points and 6 assists of his own. And like always, Draymond Green did everything. 9 points, 7 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. No Giannis Antetokounmpo last night for the Milwaukee Bucks. He was out with injury, but the Milwaukee Bucks still put up a nice fight against the Washington Wizards. For the Washington Wizards, Bradley Beal had 26 points and Markieff Morris had 20 points and 10 rebounds. And for the Bucks, it was Jabari Parker who took on a lot of the burden. He went off with 28 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 blocks, and a steal. So, you know, he's mimicking Giannis with that stat line of his own. And Malcolm Brogdon also picked up a huge load for the Milwaukee Bucks. He finished with 22 points, 5 assists, and 3 steals. It's so impressive what Joel Embiid can do in such little time. 24 minutes, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks in 24 minutes. Yo, that's just impressive. And the Philadelphia 76ers get the win over the Brooklyn Nets. And I think there was a stat that said the Philadelphia 76ers are actually 7-7 when Joel Embiid scores at least 20 points. And they've already matched their win total for last year. Last year, they finished the season with 10 wins, and they just got their 10th win of the season last night. Brandon Ingram had a second solid game in a row, so maybe he is turning around. Maybe his offensive game has finally caught up to him. 17 points on 6 of 9 shooting, 2 of 4 from 3 for Brandon Ingram last night as the Los Angeles Lakers beat the Orlando Magic 111 to 95. Yo, Brandon Ingram, like I said, 17 points as well for D'Angelo Russell in a very solid all-around game. 17 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 steals, and another solid all-around game from Julius Randle as well. 19 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists. Yo, the Memphis Grizzlies beat the Utah Jazz last night, 88 to 79. Not the most fun or pretty game to watch. It was a grind out game between two pretty grind out teams. Yo, the Utah Jazz beat the Memphis Grizzlies in a grind out game last night, 88 to 79. Not the most exciting game of the night. Yo, Gordon Hayward had 22 points and 5 rebounds for the Utah Jazz. For the Memphis Grizzlies, 19 points and 9 assists from Mike Conley and 17 points from Marc Gasol, as the Grizzlies are just a good overall team. You know, they're not the most flashy team to watch, they're not the most exciting team to watch, but they're still a good team. And last but not least, the Los Angeles Clippers beat the Miami Heat 98 to 86. Chris Paul with 19 points and 18 assists, almost a 2020 game for Chris Paul, still proving that he is one of the best point guards in the NBA. Chris Paul, 19 points, 18 assists, an amazing game for Chris Paul, and only 1 turnover, by the way. And for the Heat, you know, Goran Dragic is having a good year. He's playing well. 24 points and 5 assists. The rumor is they're trying to trade him, but they're asking a little bit too much for him, I'm hearing. But I wouldn't be surprised if he does wind up getting traded by the trade deadline, because he is not a player that is in their long-term future. And that about wraps up all the action of the Day 76 recap of the 2016-2017 NBA season. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already for more daily NBA videos. And until tomorrow, keep getting the buckets, Team SDC, and I'm out of here. Peace!